So if we go up to, we'll start with the servers. So you should have this already set up that your server is an unshared server. And you press the plus button, and then you come up with your database, which is the little cylinder. Press that plus button, and then we have our scans. So this time around I'm going to I'm going to do 3 and 4 together. So I'm going to start with right-clicking on my database, and I say create and registration, just like I did in the previous video. And this one is going to be SW34. Then I double-click into there, and then I can go to Scan World, add Scan World, just like I did, and press the plus button, add 3, press the plus button, add 4. Then I can press OK, and they will load into the Scan World's Constraints tab. They are ungrouped because we haven't put them together as a group yet. Then I'm going to start with trying to register. So I can go to Cloud Constraint, and I can go down to Cloud Constraints Wizard. So we're only going to use part of that, a part of this component. So because we only have 2 here, we didn't pull in all of the scans, it will only let you choose one little box to check. So you click on that and you press Update. What that does is it brings in your scans and into this lower section here. And I always suggest making it bigger so that you can actually see what's going on. And then once they've been loaded, you can press the X button and just close the wizard entirely. So here I've got a hallway, and I've got 2 hallways that are very, very similar. So this is going to be an interesting setup to try to get them together. So I need to, if I had field notes, this would be a much easier process. So I'm going to go into the hallway, and I'm going to go into this hallway. Because I want to see what is the same. So I still have a person that is obvious there, and it looks like I am looking in the same direction. So I have this wall over here, and I have the same wall here, and then I have these down here. So if I go here, I can see that I have this round shape, and I have the same round shape in here. And I've got the exit sign as well. So right there, there's the round shape. So being aware of the angle as to which these are being observed at, I will have to be very cautious about how I choose my points. Now, the idea with choosing points in Cloud Constraints is to identify features all the way around. So I'm going to choose 4 points that are the same between these 2 hallways. I need to try to get far away points and close together points to ensure that I get all the way around the entire point cloud is what I mean. So here I'm going to start with maybe working with the exit sign, because that is an easy feature for me to see, and I can find it in both of my scans very easily, and they're both at the same angles. So I'm going to use the bottom of the E as my point, and to do this I go to my multi-pick mode, which is the arrow with the plus button beside it. I select that, and I choose my points at the bottom of the E. Then be very careful that you don't click anywhere else on the point cloud. So go back up and choose the hand. Now I'm going to spin around. That's panning. Spin around. And I'm going to find something else down the hallway. So I'm going to spin this one around. And we have more people in this one, so that adds to some fun here. So I can see that if I go right to the very back here, I've got several doorways that I can see, and I can see that there's this doorway frame with another exit sign. The thing is, I don't want to be always at the top. I want to make sure I get some lower values as well. So I'm going to use below this exit sign as one of my locations. So let's pull into that location. And then so there. So we can see that we got the little red shape here, and they're both coming from the same direction. At least I believe so. Double check that. Yep. It's coming from that direction, and this is coming from the same direction. Okay, so I'm going to use this little red box as my location for choosing my points. So I'm going to use my multi-pick tool, and I'm going to select a point down below, like that. And then I switch back to the hand. Now I need to find something that is about midway. There's not much for features on the sides of the walls here, so it does become a little bit trickier to find a feature that we can do along there. But there is this fire. So let's see if we can change it and go to that location. See if we can find it. Yes, I can find it in both of my scans. So I only have this side of the fire alarm. So I need to make sure I'm looking at it in the same direction as what I am here. So I can see it. There is a bit of a shadow beside it, so I just have to be very cautious. So I'm going to use my points, and I'm going to choose one of the outward points of it. And then I'm just going to make sure that I didn't choose a point behind it. All right, and then I get to choose my last point because I need to have 4 points. So let's find something right in the middle. And I'm going to use something in the ceiling because that is really easy to identify points. Okay, so I'm going to be looking for that shape. So there we go, we got those. And again, just need to make sure that I'm in the same location. And perhaps what I should do is instead of choosing something on these, I can choose any details that I see for the ceiling lines. So here, if I pull out just enough, I can make out these lines. And I'm going to choose one that is in the middle here and here. Actually, I should do the other side because I haven't got much on this side. That one and right there. All right, so now I have 4 points. You need to have a minimum of 4. And we're going to see how well this actually fits together. So I'm going to go to Cloud Constraint and add Cloud Constraint. Then you'll see that we can go to the constraint list, and it's filled in with something under the constraint list. So now, in order for it to give me any errors, I need to run my registration. So my registration has been run. I can see my vector error is to 7 mils, and my error is 0. So this is really good. Those are the numbers, though, so I don't know if the numbers are good, so I'm going to go show my interim results. So this is what's going to tell me whether or not they lined up very well. So this looks like it should be a hallway. It looks pretty clear to be a hallway. And then I can come in and I'm going to investigate to see if I have the doors lined up. So it's looking like the doors are lined up. Making sure that the walls look like they're lined up. Now, that looks like it's okay. Let's go this way, because this was more of a and that looks like it's okay. So it looks like we've got everything lines up visually. So I can close that, say no, I don't want to save that model space. I can go register and create ScanWorld freeze registration. So now if I go back to Navigator, I will see that I now have ScanWorld 3 and 4 put together. One thing that you need to check, you go to Registration and Show Diagnostics. So this is just a little text file that you can save that talks about all of the errors that it has encountered. So it says that the constraints that it put in place, so those would be like the ground control points, these ones have an error of 0. Now if we go down, it looks like the RMS value itself is 7 mils. The average is actually 4 mils. So this is a really, really good registration that I have. Generally, your maximum error should be about 12 mils, and if it exceeds that, then it hasn't fixed very well. It's got too much of an error. That's more for target-based, but cloud-to-cloud also tends to be quite low as well. If you're doing feature-based, the feature-based tends to be a little bit higher, especially in natural areas. So that is cloud-to-cloud registration, and the next video we'll look at target registration.